ईश्वरं वा सुता श्रीमन् पूर्वा सन्ध्या
Any question? I see the right. No, I'm just trying to think back on how when I realized that these were demons that I was being faced with, then I started noticing, oh, there's a demon, there's a demon.
Right.
There's a demon.
Right. And I'm going to clarify for you, honey, because you just walked in and I don't want you thinking we're talking about demons the way that people think of demons. They're like, oh my gosh, what did I just walk into? There's a beautiful story of the Buddha when the Buddha reached enlightenment. Are you familiar with that story at all?
Yeah.
Okay, so the Buddha under the Bodhi tree, and in that experience, what he metaphorically experienced were these demons, the demons of the world that came to him to tempt him in different manners, to get him to take his focus off of the eternal and to re-identify with the world. And so one of the things that I talk to my students about frequently is that and I use the word demons because it's like the perfect word for it, because that's what they're there to do. They're there to tempt you and seduce you and just get you refocused on your identification with who you are as a human, who you are as a wife and a mother and a friend and a sister and an employee and every other identifier that you can think of. Because if polarized consciousness, if the lower mind itself can get that identification back in place, then it takes the focus completely off the eternal. And the eternal exists outside of polarized consciousness, outside of duality. And so the beautiful story with the Buddha is that, the Buddha sat down with great will, divine will, right? Great intent. I will not leave this place. I will die here before I get up. I will not leave until it's done. And it takes that, so in our work, I always talk about it more like there's this fire that burns within you, and it's that fire that's leading you home, right? And without that burning desire for freedom, burning desire for truth, you won't make it. Because it's too challenging. It's just too challenging. And the reason it's so challenging is because of what is required of you to make the leap. It requires the ultimate surrender. It would be far easier if it was, okay, if you want, ascension, you've got to climb Everest. There'd be a whole lot more people ascending on the planet that way, because you would look at it as that's doable, right? Yes, it's going to be hard, but there's a beginning and an end, and I can see it, and I know I can do these things to train, and I got it. But what's actually required of you is far more difficult because of the incredible amount of will it takes to walk yourself through the dissolution of who you think yourself to be. It would be almost like I'm going to tell you, you have to take your skin off. You have to literally peel your own skin off to do this. Sounds great. I could do that. And and then you get started and it's like, I don't think I want to do this anymore, And that's what happens. So as you start doing your dissolution work, you come more and more into things that it becomes increasingly uncomfortable where you have to go to see through that level of the identification, to see through that level of the illusion that you're currently believing to be real in the world. And I don't kid when I say it's the hardest thing you'll ever do. It is the hardest thing you'll ever do.